Okay, so my topic is abortion, and quick definition: abortion is the decision to terminate an unintended or unwanted pregnancy. And my main claim is that abortion is harmful to our society, like overall. So some supporting points is that abortion is used to control minority populations. Abortion causes emotional distress, and also that abortion clinics are starting to get a bad reputation due to their selfish motives, basically. So first, abortion is used to control minority populations. In 1988, Senator John Doolittle said that abortions target Black and Hispanic minorities and have even expressed racist motivation for the abortion activism. And this happened in 1988. Even 20 years later, the same idea is still brought up again. So in 2008, Ryan Jisia from CNS News reported an incident that happened. This incident included Lila Rose and James O'Keefe, and they were basically going against Planned Parenthood. So they called Planned Parenthood and were asking questions to them and pretending to be a donor. So the man was pretending to be a donor and said that he would like to donate, but he would only donate to like a Black mother so she can abort her child. And the speaker from Planned Parenthood said, "Oh, that's understandable." Like, they're always laughing and for sure saying "Yeah, that's fine." They were okay with the racist, undertone. And some specific quotes that he had said, James O'Keefe, was, "The less Black kids, the better." And then the woman said, "Understandable, understandable." She started laughing, and then she had said, "I'm excited, and I've never had this type of request before, but it will for sure be, met." And this is very harmful to our society because as America, you would think that we are over racism, but it's obviously still happening, and abortion is one of the ways that we're allowing it to continue. The next is that abortion causes emotional distress. Women will experience remorse and depression. Some example of this is that in Health Weekly stated that women with a history with abortion had a higher risk compared to women who went through with their unintended pregnancy. So, which means that women who had an unexpected pregnancy and went through with it were less likely to get depression compared to women who did get abortion. A woman, Natalie Faith, interviewed a few women, and her video is called "The Dark Secret: Life After Abortion." And these stories of the women just talk about their hardship and their hard time dealing with abortion, mostly having no one to go to, but also being, they felt embarrassed of what they had done, and they felt that it was wrong overall. So this type of thing we see after abortion is that women are unhappy, and a lot of it is linked with depression. And this is unhealthy for our society because we wouldn't want our society to feel depressed. We should have them feel happy with their actions. So without abortion, this wouldn't be happening. The last thing is that abortion clinics are starting to get a bad reputation. Another specific example is of Planned Parenthood again. Abby Johnson, who is an ex-Planned Parenthood director, is in an interview on the news, and she is explaining her position in the company, which was a high position, and she explained that the motives and their main thing is to try to make money off of abortions, like selling it to people. So they're convincing women to get abortions and stuff like that, which in my opinion is unhealthy because women should get abortions because they want to, not because they're persuaded to. And also I think abortions should be used to help a woman who needs, who is not ready for a pregnancy and not getting it just to pay money to support companies who are just wanting the money for no reasons. And also, they had used certain tactics, and they were helping people who were lying about their age just to receive their money. So they're supporting prostitutes, minors, and people who are not from this country just to take their money. And Abby Johnson further on explains that we are all good salespeople, and our goal was to increase the sale of abortions. So all these three things, abortion, controlling minorities, abortion causing emotional distress, and the fact that abortion clinics just want money, I think those three things are all linked to harming our society. Thank you.
All right, well, the topic is identified pretty clearly. Your proposition is also simply stated, so it's pretty straightforward. At the end of the speech, though, it sounds to me like there might be a more appropriate proposition, and we'll get to that in a little while. You give us a definition of abortion. I'm not exactly sure that that's necessary for an audience in college at this particular point. I think most people are aware of what an abortion consists of. The structural issue, you did have a good preview of what the secondary issues were going to be. Speaking of those secondary issues, you labeled them pretty clearly as you got to them. I'm not exactly sure what the third point is as you get started. That's developing a bad reputation. I think you need a more explicit statement on that, telling us what that in the long run means. The transitions between the points, it's always clear where you are. Sometimes it needs to be a little bit smoother. It just sounds like you're going through a checklist at a couple of points, and I think you can be a lot more polished when you're delivering your information. You start off with some good information on the first point to talk about the racial animus or elements to abortion. You've got an old piece of testimony that talks about this, and then you've got a contemporary example. I think that's a good start, but it seems to me like it would make sense if there was some statistical information to back this up. So, for example, if the vast number of abortions are performed in the black community or in the black Hispanic community or whatever ethnic groups you think it is that are being targeted here, that would substantiate your claim a lot more, and so some data like that would be helpful. You've got an interesting example on that point, but it's awfully hard to generalize from that single example that they had one person who said that, maybe they're placating the person who's calling in, not necessarily agreeing with them, but just like you said, they're good salespeople. They're trying to get their money. So the guy says in his, I just want to make sure that we're donating so that black people can get abortions. And she says, well, that's understandable. That's understandable. I don't know that that necessarily means that they're endorsing that point of view so much as it is they're stringing them along to get their donation. The research on the second point about depression is okay. I think it could be a little bit stronger. You had some good narratives on that particular point, and it sounds like that movie or video that goes along with it would probably have a whole bunch of those sorts of things. On the third point, you've got some information that comes from a former executive in Planned Parenthood talking about how they're selling. Here's where I think maybe your argument might be a little bit more focused if we went back and you basically just argued that there are problems with Planned Parenthood, that Planned Parenthood is an organization that is primarily devoted to promoting abortion as a culture and for financial gain, I think that might be a more effective way of stating your position. Because at some points you sound like you are advocating that abortion be accessible to women and that there is a potential benefit to having access to abortion. Your criticisms usually seem to be, especially in the second half of the speech, directed toward the organization. I think you could use a little bit more variety in your voice at times. On the third point, I did think you got sidelined into some secondary issues that were not directly related to the main point that you're trying to make. All right, thank you.